How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And I didn't realize it when I scheduled today's game, but apparently the Artemis 1 rocket launched this morning. So shout out to NASA for getting that popping. Also, today's game actually speaks to a young 8-bit animal, because back in the day, because I guess I was a smart kid or whatever, there was always this conversation about, hey, that guy's going to be an astronaut, or that kid's going to be a scientist, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, those things are cool, but they never were my bag. Though there was a second where I did kind of want to go to space, and the idea of going to space camp was an awesome dream that, because of the cost, could not happen. But today's game kind of takes one of the things that we knew about space travel in like the 80s and 90s, the shuttle missions, and gamifies it in a sense. This game is from 1991, was published by Absolute Entertainment, and developed by Imagineering, the same pairing that gave us A Boy and His Blob. Today, we're going to take a quick look at Space Shuttle Project. Alright, Space Shuttle Project is interesting because they just shoved some really weird video gamey stuff into the processes around a shuttle launch. You start the game out kind of signing in and all that, and you put your name in, and a code flashes, and then like a shuttle name flashes, and you gotta make sure you get that information in there correctly. If you don't, you're if you don't, you lose a life. There are lots of things that penalize you by you losing extra lives, and pretty much when this game is over, it's over. You start over. So you get that done, and then there's this thing where you gotta kind of go get where you're playing around with the elevator for the shuttle. It's kind of silly, but it works, I guess. Extend the gameplay experience. You go and pick up your partner, and you bring them back. You go up, flip a switch, go back down, grab your partner, bring them back up to the shuttle, and there's these things, these barriers going back and forth that will stop you from moving up the elevator shaft. And you have a time limit in order to get this stuff done. If you don't do it in time, you lose a life. You gotta start over. Once you get everybody on the shuttle, then you launch. And the launch sequence has like some mini game stuff. You gotta kind of match up there's this little bar at the top of the screen you gotta play around with, and then once you get into orbit, one of the first things you do is deploy a satellite. You deploy the satellite. That's your first mission. You gotta avoid other satellites that are flying around. Who put all these satellites up there? And why the satellites just flying back and forth at Mach 5, bruh? Things going by buku fast. Then you gotta re-enter and properly land. And there's a bar you gotta play with that little bar at the top of the screen again. And each mission adds an element to the launch, what happens while you're in orbit, and coming home. There's a thing where you're working on a space station. That happens a couple of times. There's a mission where you gotta go rescue a dude that's like stuck up there. And yeah, it's a lot going on in this game. And it all theoretically works. It can be a little difficult though. And you know, it ain't bad, but for the novelty of the game, it's pretty cool. It's a novel concept. It's something that, strangely enough, had never been done on the NES. Realistic space travel. Because we go to space a lot in video games. My favorite genre of video game is a shoot 'em up, shmup. Most of those take place in space. But this ain't no shooting aliens here. Ain't no dodging pink bullets here. You're in space, but you're doing real type stuff in space. No pink bullets in Space Shuttle Project. Sorry. But yeah, if you decide you want a copy of Space Shuttle Project, about between $15 and $25 to get you a copy. Most copies fall in that price range. And for this game that came out in this time period, yeah, you did pretty good there. That's a good price point. Ignore the fact that Gary Kitchen is attached to this game. Just ignore that. This ain't a bad video game. Could have been better, but considering, I don't think it's a problem. I think it did pretty good. You know? But yeah, this has been the 8-Bit Animal. And I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. This is the reason why I'm always beefing with Activision's NES stuff. Just to look at this thing. Ugh.